Lamer Gamers, this is Simply Travis and
Rowdy 5000.
And we just used a VR headset to traverse the streets of LA with Keanu Reeves.
You're breathtaking!
In search of an E3 after party. But we accidentally took a wrong turn in our silver DeLorean on Skid Row, leading us to an underground labyrinthian tunnel system that led us to the most awesome of after parties, featuring episode 7 of the Lamer Gamers podcast. So today we're going to talk about what we feel were the biggest pieces of news, talk about what has been announced for the console and PC market, then rate the conferences at the show from worst to last. We'll also be checking in on some post-E3 fake news coming from the rumor mill. So, let's get this thing started. Hey, Rowdy.
What's up, man?
What's your biggest piece of news this E3?
Alright, so I heard all the leaks about this game prior to. I am most excited, though, about Watch Dogs Legion now. When I heard the initial leaks where they were like, oh, you could be every character. I still don't think you could be every character, by the way.
No, I thought it was just you could just pick up random people on the street.
Well, they keep saying every single person in the game.
So do you see the same people over and over?
I don't know. But I do like the fact that you can pick, I mean, you do get a lot of people. Because, like, when I first heard about it, I was like, this doesn't sound all that cool. And then when they actually showed, like, the dystopian London and how everything was crazy, Big Brother was everywhere, and how basically the main character of the game is the AI for DedSec. Mm-hmm. And then you just play as the characters, and then there's the permadeath system that we saw. I normally hate permadeath, but it really makes sense in this game, and that is what I am most excited for, especially your favorite character,
Helen. Helen is so awesome. She's like, and if you didn't watch the conference, Helen is this old grandma that used to be an assassin, and she looks pretty awesome. Now, the thing that I guess I'm confused about is you can pick anybody up off the street and they are part of your team. How do I find Helen? Like, is it just any grandma has the story of Helen and they just fill in that voice? Are there like an army of Helens, and they have just different names? To me, that doesn't make sense. Like, how do you make a game that makes any sense with multiple characters? Do they just kind of take the part as they go?
I don't know, but I bet she's one of the ones you could pick up in a storyline. I mean,
oh, yeah.
That was definitely like the main part of that conference. So I'm pretty sure there are quite a few characters that you get no matter what based on the storyline.
Yep.
I bet there's a whole lot of people, though, that you could be that aren't necessarily part of the storyline. That's probably how it works.
So that's kind of where I'm... So there's a way that you could do this that I've seen in other games. The Deadfire game that I like so much and I always talk about has like sidekicks, which... Mm-hmm. are able to play, and they have small things that they might say, but then there are like actual main characters, because you're one main character, but you have other part-time characters that join in the fun, and they have a more I guess actual role, and they might have banter back and forth with the other NPCs. So I'm wondering if that's really more along the lines of what they're going to do.
I don't know, man, but if you've played the last few Watch Dogs games, I actually didn't play the second one. I played the first one.
I haven't played any.
You can any person you run into on the street, you can basically, I mean, they call it hacking, but basically you can just see all of their a lot of their data, stuff about them. Like I was walking around at one point and I saw somebody, and when I hacked their data, it was talking about how they were going through a divorce at the time. So it just sounds like a lot of you have access to like legal documents, public type stuff.
And that was part of what they had in the other games that I always thought was cool. I never played a Watch Dogs game. I always wanted to. I had a Wii U, and I just never got around to it. So.
It feels a lot like futuristic Assassin's Creed,
right?
Which they do have ties to the Assassin's Creed storyline. Like, you'll find little notes here and there. That's kind of cool.
Gotcha. So the next thing that I think is the big news for me was Game Pass and the new stuff they brought into Game Pass. Mainly because it affects me. I'm a PC gamer. I've been in the market, as I was talking last episode, for a new system that could play 4K. Now, I run time for some mumbo jumbo, an FX 8350 for my CPU, and then a RX 480. Nerd. And I have 16 gigs of RAM on my PC. I got it on this new little wheels, and I can kind of cart it around to my TV whenever I want. So now I have all these games for Game Pass. The first month was $1.
Yeah.
And there's some good games on it. I'll talk more about that in our next episode. But that to me was the biggest thing, because right now there's some parity between Xbox and PC, and this seems to me like the step that I've been wanting Microsoft to take, to where you can pretty much play anything that's on the Xbox and the PC simultaneously. If you don't want to buy a gaming PC, you grab a Microsoft software or a Microsoft hardware for cheaper than you can build a gaming computer.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll look pretty good. Like right now, I mean, honestly, they're talking about Project Scarlet, which we'll get into later on. Probably next episode, I think.
Yeah.
We're going to talk some about it today, but we're going to talk more about it next episode. And I'm thinking now, does it make more sense to build another computer or spend $500, $400, however much it's going to be for Scarlet? Because I think that still might be cheaper to get a new console.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned the Game Pass, because I was actually going to ask you how you felt about, because, I mean, you don't own an Xbox or anything. So I was going to ask you, are you still going to play it just on PC, or are you considering the Xbox?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I wanted to get a PS4 Pro, but, with Game Pass, which is, if you get the best version, is $15 a month, right? That includes not only the games on the PC, it includes the games on Xbox, and there are some differences. There are more games on, that you get on one that you don't get on the other. And then you also get their Xbox Live Gold Pass, which itself is $50 a year, right?
50 to 60, because I think I pay. Yeah. It's pretty much the same thing as what is it? Whatever the PlayStation subscription is. I have that, and I think I pay $60 a year for it, and you get I forget. I think it's 2 free games a month.
Yeah,
and they're actually pretty decent games throughout the past year. They've been very decent.
So I don't know if I'm starting to think I'm not in the market
at this time
anymore, because there's so many announcements coming out, and it sounds like all the systems are going to hit in 2020.
Well, we're on the end of this generation,
right?
And they said Scarlet's coming out holiday 2020. So PS5 is, if they're coming out holiday 2020, PS5 has a release window of the latest they can release is March of 2021 to still stay in the race.
Right.
Like, they have to put it out before the fiscal year ends just to stay in the race with Scarlet. But that is a discussion for another day.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna move that. We're gonna move that discussion to the next podcast. All right, so we are done with our big news. I guess we should talk about the actual news. So this is going to be a little bit different than our other podcasts, because there's so much to talk about. This is the E3 after party, so it's all E3 this whole stinking episode.
We're going to try to rapid fire this, but we never do.
No. So we've got an hour, which we didn't set a timer, as we always forget to do.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to go through this, and we have a massive list of games and announcements. Then we'll talk about which conferences worked, which ones didn't. So let's jump into the 2-hour conference that I missed, but poor Mr. 5000 over here had to sit through. How was the EA conference?
Look, man, so I was actually kind of excited about it, just because I wanted to hear about, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And so basically this was... I mean, I guess you could call it a conference. They did have gameplay, and then they interviewed the producers and things like that. Greg Miller hosted it, and anything with him is always going to be crazy. But it was kind of lackluster. I mean, now that I think about it, I'm going to start from the end of the conference and work my way forward because that's when it was the most exciting.
Yeah.
Basically, at the end of the conference, all they did was talk about FIFA 20 and Madden 20. I mean, if you're into the EA Sports games, I mean,
it's
that was
another
for
one.
you. I mean, it's another one. It's basically updated rosters.
Oh, boy.
And that's about it that I saw, or that I was actually interested in. I didn't really pay too much attention to it.
I think last year, the year before, I watched the EA conference, and it was just like, oh, these games have emotions. Look at the emotions in the crowd. Their faces are angry when they get hit. Oh, my goodness.
And that's cool and all.
Did they do that in this one? Or were they just like, hey, there's sports balls. You go over there and you're going to play this football game. Yeah.
And my eyes kind of glazed over whenever they announced. Because they'd be like, FIFA 20. And I'd just be like, meh, and then I'd go back to my Switch or go back to playing on my phone or something until they got to Madden 20. And then I was like, go right back to it. But then they did another, a Sims 4 DLC, Island Living.
How is that game still alive?
People love it, dude.
Like, my niece plays Sims 4, and she spent a ton of money this Christmas for Sims.
But think about when the first Sims came out and how much you played it.
Did I play it? I played a little bit.
Dude, we
set people on fire by accident.
Me and you freaked out because we started talking about the mods and everything that you could add to it.
This is way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
This was probably 97, 98, somewhere in there.
But that's the thing, though. This game has been around forever at this point. And when did they release Sims 4?
A long time ago.
Okay, we're going to ask Professor Google over here.
But I actually watched some interviews of people who were interested in The Sims, and they were talking about how the Island Living is actually a huge DLC for it. It changes a lot. I don't have the specifics, but people that are really into Sims love the idea. What you got there, 2014?
2014. The game is 5 years old, and I should not be complaining because I play a lot of Diablo.
Yeah, you do.
And that game's 6 years old. How do people keep playing these games? Smash with hammer. But that's the thing. I like hammer smashing, and other people like catching people on fire and woohoos. So I guess, the difference here.
So before Sims, they announced some more Battlefield DLC, which is cool. Battlefield 5 was pretty good.
I played the Battlefield. There was no number.
I don't know. I played some of the
PC.
free content. They had like a free weekend or something like that where I played some of it. It was pretty fun. I dug it.
I probably need to download it. Maybe I'll get lucky and it'll go on Games Pass.
True. Then before that, they talked about Apex Legends Season 2, which of all the Battle Royales that I've played for 10 minutes each, Apex Legends has been my favorite.
Really?
I'm not a big Battle Royale fan, but that one controlled the best. It's made by the people who did Titanfall. It's made by
right.
Was it Respawn? I think.
In Apex Legend, from what I understand, it has some interesting movement mechanics, right?
Yeah. What's cool is they try to take some of the movement mechanics of the Titans in Titanfall and put it in here because it was rumored that it was a Titanfall Battle Royale at first. But one thing I thought was cool was sliding down hills, and I know that sounds ridiculous.
That sounds fun.
But it's good when you really need to get out of somewhere.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of good movement mechanics in FPSs. I mean, that's why I'm a big fan of Splatoon. Because the movement mechanic is you spread the ink on the ground, you go through ink faster. You hit other baddie ink, you go slower. I like the idea of... Because to me, I started playing first-person shooters back in the GoldenEye days.
Oh, man.
And... after a while, these games like Call of Duty, all these other ones, and man, I've done this before. There's not much you can really add, and how long can I sit and look on a sniper scope in 16, 17, 18 games and feel like it's different? I mean, so that's really where I'm at with games like that. I'm looking for something new and fresh. So I guess we're down to the big EA game.
Yeah, the big EA game. And it's funny because they did it first, and then I just kind of glazed over for the rest of it. But the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This is the one I've been looking forward to. Maybe I shouldn't say looking forward to. I want to see what EA's doing with the Star Wars license. As a huge Star Wars nerd, they have just dropped the ball nonstop since they got the license. I mean, they have a 10-year license for Star Wars games exclusivity, and all they've done is release Battlefront and Battlefront 2, and they've just been marred with controversy. Tons of loot boxes, to the point where you would have to basically play these games as a full-time job for a whole year just to unlock some of the in-game stuff. Or you could buy their loot boxes to do it.
Oh, boy.
So it's basically like a pay-to-win situation. I mean,
Yeah.
we all know the story. It was marred with controversy. But
Thanks some
Star
governments
Wars,
went after them, too, as far as, like...
in Belgium, it's illegal for loot boxes now.
Bingo. Yeah. I mean, in loot boxes really are a form
Of gambling. You get a dopamine release from it,
Heck yeah.
just like gambling.
That's why that's why I'm like a big fan of Diablo, but I can't pay real money for it, so it's not dangerous, right? Right. I'm just telling myself this. One cool thing I was listening to, and it wasn't on this conference because they showed this freaking Star Wars game at like 4 conferences.
Look, but what they did show, though, was very lackluster and milquetoast. I mean, it just...
Well,
Oh.
I thought the game looked good, but one big thing that the developers talked about was they are likening it to Metroid.
Okay, so
Prime.
I was actually going to go into that in a second. They have, like, what they showed for everybody to see, and then what they showed on the behind-the-scenes demo is... the demo everybody saw, like I said, very lackluster, very safe, what
Right.
you could do. It just looked like a very linear game, and it to me just reminded me a lot of Force Unleashed, where you run around with a lightsaber and you hit people. But like I said, like the behind the scenes footage that people got to see afterwards, like you said, they likened it to Metroid in the way that you have to unlock abilities, then you could go back and access places that you couldn't beforehand. And then a lot of people were complaining about it looking very linear. Well,
Right.
later people learned that you could... there's a ton of different planets you could go to, and you could do them in any order.
Which is cool. I think some of the things sound cool about it. I'm still doing a wait and see because I'm not invested in the Star Wars universe personally.
I totally am.
I know you are. But they've kind of... Star Wars is becoming milquetoast.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, but it's the Disneyification of
Yeah.
Star Wars. They'll screw it up for a little bit, then they'll probably bring it back here in 10 years and get it all right again.
There's just so much coming out in November that this one's gonna go on the back burner for me. I probably won't try it out until 2020.
November's going to be wild.
Oh,
okay,
man.
so I guess we'll move on to the next conference, which is Microsoft. Now, this was one of my favorite conferences.
Yeah, I mean it was up there, and that's coming from a PlayStation fanboy.
Yeah, and I'll talk about why I think it was a good conference when we get to the rating system. But we're going to talk about the games. So, a couple of games that are, well, I'll just kind of blaze through because I don't think we're going to talk about them much. I mean, Flight Simulator, cool.
It looks cool, yeah.
I mean, the only reason why I even have any interest in it is because at the school I work with, we have an aviation club. Because
Nice.
we have somebody that works at our campus is a pilot.
Okay.
And so they do flight simulators after school and learn how to fly planes. And then they go to the airports that are out around we are in Southeast Texas and learn about the planes and stuff like that. So I'm
cool.
excited because now we can get new flight simulators that will work on our computers.
That aren't Flight Simulator 97.
Yeah, they're a pain. Another couple ones, I don't remember what Spiritfarer is, but apparently it's coming to Xbox Game Pass. 12 minutes.
That one looks crazy.
So what is 12 minutes?
So, basically the game takes place over a 12-minute period.
So it's one of those like replay
And
15
it keeps
times
repeating.
games?
And from what I've seen in the previews is This dude wakes up, and his wife asks him, what's happening, what's going on, and he says, I think it was just listen to everything I say. Something about there's about to be a man that breaks through the door, blah blah blah. And the next thing you know, this dude breaks through the door and starts trying to kill him.
It was like a time loop.
Yes.
Okay.
We got 2 time loop games this time around.
Well, there was a game called Minute that was an indie game that you
have 1 minute to do everything.
Yeah, like in every little level. Yeah, that would drive me bonkers though. And I know not Messenger. What was that Devolver game that you played it?
Did I?
Yeah, it was it looked like a 80s
Hotline
aesthetic.
Miami?
Yeah, no, with ninjas.
Oh, Katana Zero.
That,
yeah, I guess it's kind of a time loop, but that was just basically like if you die, you see everything that just happened.
It's like the indie fad right now.
Yeah, but I hate Groundhog's Day. I thought it was one of the worst movies ever, so anything that steals from Groundhog's Day is automatically a turd to me.
Okay. Yeah. Your lovely scale of turd to amazing.
Yes.
We need to do some game reviews and come up with a real scale. So another one, I don't even understand. Forza Horizon 4 Lego Speed Champions expansion. Why?
Okay, so Forza Horizon, I don't know if you've played any of those games. Those are the most realistic, I guess, driving simulators out there.
But why Legos?
Because Lego's awesome, man.
No.
Yeah, it is.
I don't see these two unless they're trying to get kids involved in this game.
Look, they put
who is the target audience?
They put a Lego McLaren on stage, and that was wow. If you want to steal that car, you could actually do it piece by piece. Just saying.
Then you got to reassemble it, though.
Yeah.
Speaking of now, this one was a surprise to me that I want to play it. Minecraft Dungeons looks legit.
Look, Minecraft is awesome. I like playing Minecraft. You like playing Diablo. This is a mixture of the two.
Exactly. And I like the idea of crafting weapons and building up your stuff, and that's Diablo-like, and it's coming to the Switch, so that makes me happy.
You dumb because you don't like Minecraft.
Minecraft? But this doesn't look like it has any real building. It's just crafting.
Yeah, no, it's just crafting and Diablo type stuff.
And I want to go in and beat up baddies and go craft new weapons. I mean, that sounds amazing to me, especially because I think Microsoft might be able to get that kind of thing right.
Mm-hmm.
So, because a lot of these Diablo-esque, the ARPGs, action RPGs, they're hit or miss. They don't really get that Diablo feel correct.
Mm-hmm.
Battletoads?
It's gonna be hit or miss, man.
It looks.
I like
good.
Battletoads. I like the art style, but a lot of people are complaining about the art style.
Why? It just looks like it's nicely.
Because it's not original Battletoads.
It doesn't look as bad as New Age Ninja Turtles.
It's true.
It looks a lot better than that. It just looks super clean.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I think it looks fun. I'm not super excited, but it looks fun.
What'd you think about Blair Witch?
Dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought the way they presented it was interesting, but Blair Witch itself was not very good. It was a letdown by the end.
It seems like a game that they were trying to make, and they had no idea what they were going to call it or what kind of lore they were going to use, and then they somehow got the Blair Witch copyright.
Where do they own the copyright? I guess that might be something to look up later.
Is Blair Witch public domain at this point?
Honestly, it's all. That's another thing. Once again, what audience is like? Oh my gosh, they got a Blair Witch game! I really want to play this.
It looked cool, but like I said, it seemed like they made a game and then got the Blair Witch copyright afterwards. And then attached
just kind of threw that in there, I guess. And it's some name recognition, but I just can't think of anybody that's a really huge fan of Blair Witch. The only thing that really made people like the Blair Witch was the advertising campaign, which tricked people into thinking that it was legit.
Oh, it was brilliant, man.
Oh,
it really was.
If you weren't alive back then, I don't know when that was. That was
2000-ish?
Yeah.
99.
Yeah, it's around the one of the first apocalypses that we lived through, 2000 Y2K area. It was, and this was like at the beginning of when people were really getting internet mainstreamed in homes.
It was the first viral campaign.
Yeah, that really was. Now that I'm thinking, man, we owe a lot of like the internet's viral campaigns to the Blair Witch, because you would go to the website and there were all these little hidden things. It was a really good ad campaign. The movie kind of sucked. The ending was interesting, but
the ending made me jump, but that's about it.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. Okay, so Bleeding Edge is a ninja game, right?
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
It's a Team Ninja production.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So it was like Splatoon, but melee combat.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I remember that one.
Wait, I don't remember that one.
Was
Explain this Splatoon, but melee combat.
Well, because it was very like bright.
Oh.
And team.
Team-oriented
It was
ninja
team-oriented,
action.
but it was melee focused. Like it's not really shooter focused.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I'll have to check that one out. So this one ticks me off to no end. Age of Empire 2 Definitive Edition. How many times can you release Age of Empires games? I've seen so many of them, and I want a new Age of Empires.
I mean, you could release it as
Age of Mythology.
you could release it as many times you want. I'm still not going to play it.
I will play the heck out of it. But they just constantly release this stuff over and over, and they will not make a new one.
Turd.
It's Age of Empires 2 was not as good as 3. I like 3 better. I know somebody's going to be angry about it because people are like obsessed with Age of Empires 2. Age of Mythology to me was the best one. I like the idea of the mythological gods, superpowers and stuff like that. But 3 was really well done too. It was just like a 17 and 1800s time period. 2 was Middle Ages, something like that. I didn't play it that much. Other fun game that they announced, Wasteland 3. Didn't see that one coming.
No. I've played a little bit of Wasteland 2, and I really liked it. Mm-hmm. And the whole Fallout series owes a lot to the original Wasteland. Which the original Wasteland was fun if you like text-based games. Then when they released 2, like it looked really cool. It was fun. It was basically it played like the original Fallout. It's like the isometric top-down strategy games.
Right.
But this one, like I actually didn't even realize. I didn't even think that it was going to be a Wasteland game while I was watching it. Like I should have.
Yeah. And then I guess Outer Worlds. I've talked about that in the past. They didn't show, I think, a whole lot new to Outer Worlds. Just basically showed gameplay that shows, oh yeah, this is like Fallout.
Yeah, no, it looks awesome. And one of my favorite Fallouts was Fallout New Vegas. That was the one that Obsidian did. So Obsidian is actually the ones making Outer Worlds. And it also has the people who created Fallout, like the original Fallouts, not Fallout 3, like when Bethesda picked it up. Like Fallout 1, 2, your whatever that Brotherhood of Steel version was. Those guys. So it's going to be good.
Oh yeah, the Outer Worlds looks great. If you don't know what it is, it's essentially sci-fi Fallout. Fallout is sci-fi, but this is more in the future. It's not necessarily society as it fallen.
Yeah, it's
the same way. But one thing that's really cool that they did not do well in the newer Fallout games, especially Fallout 6 because it sucks. Talk about that next time. Was that you get perks or you get points based on personality aspects, and that can affect the entire storyline for what you're doing, like on side quest, on major quest. So let's say if you have Intimidate and you've got a strong skill in Intimidate, you could actually like force people out of the room, or lying can do stuff like that. Whereas if you didn't have those things, you had to play a certain way. And they did a really good job with that. Obsidian did with Deadfire, which is why I like it so much. But I'm super excited that they're going to do this kind of thing with Outer Worlds. The graphics looks pretty good. I'm hoping they include some sort of VATS-esque system, because I don't want to feel like I'm playing a RPG first-person shooter that is first-person shooter first. I want that aspect of it to be secondary.
What about 76?
Shut up, Riley. Don't remind me. I'm going to dig through those bad memories on the next episode. Then we had Gears 5.
I'm excited about Gears 5. I meant to pick up Game Pass here a while back just to see if you could play Gears 4 on PC. I still need to see if I can do that.
I'm going to open that stuff while you're talking about Gears 5 because I didn't really pay attention to Gears 5 because I'm not that excited about it.
It looks cool, but that, what is it, the Gears Pop, Funko Pop? Meh. Nah, not going to play that at all. Cell phone games. Not a fan. But I guess like the big one for Xbox this year was Halo. And I've never been a huge Halo fan. I really liked 1 and 2. But at the 3 got a little ridiculous, and then I just kind of fell out of it. But now that they've got all the Halos coming to PC, I may pick them back up again. But Halo Infinite looks cool because it looks like they're really going back to the old school Halo Combat Evolved and the Halo 2. So we'll see, man.
And I just pulled up Game Pass. Gears of War 4 is on there. Gears of War Ultimate Edition. There's a lot of Gears on here.
Okay.
All the Halo games are now on the PC Game Pass too.
Nice.
Even some of the tactics-based games. So it's, like I said, man, Game Pass is pretty legit. I hate to say it. I don't really hate to say it because I'm paying $1 for it. So, and I know they're about to take some games off of it. I'll talk about that next episode too and put some more on it. But yeah, I mean, they both look good, and I'm perspective new Microsoft-based gamer, so I'm going to have to try them out and see what all the hype is about, I guess.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of Gears 3, and I played Halo whenever I'd like visit friends' houses back in the day, but once again, Nintendo fanboy for years. I'm reformed. Trying to play other things. All right,
What's next?
Oh, bad things, Rowdy. Bad things
the Bethesda
are next.
conference.
Okay, so we should just call it Bethesda Happy Fun Time Mobile Hour because that's all that it is without, well, I guess let's redo this. Bethesda Sadness Unhappy Mobile Hour because there's no goodness that comes from the announcements.
Dude, it was basically just Pete Hines and Todd Howard saying we're sorry over and over again. Like that episode of South Park.
So sorry.
We're sorry.
Oh, we listen to you guys. We listen to y'all so much, but here, take some mobile games that y'all don't want.
Ugh.
You know, that's pretty much the conference, and we'll talk more about that later. So let's actually talk about the games there. Done. No, I'm joking. There were some games announced. Commander Keen was this old PC game. And they announced it like, look at this old classic PC game that we're bringing back to you kids.
And then we got super excited.
But you're going to only be able to play it on your cell phones.
And then we were not excited.
Oh. Then there was Wolfenstein, and they brought out this Swedish guy.
I'm super excited about Youngblood.
I need to play some Wolfenstein.
Look, man,
they look fun.
The new Wolfenstein reboots, because every time they come out with new Wolfenstein, they kind of start the storyline over again.
Yeah.
You always play as BJ Blazkowicz. I'm sorry, Blazkowicz.
Blazkowicz.
It's actually pronounced Blazkowicz, but we're not going to go into that. So they always, when they restart it, you always play as him. Well, this time around with, Wolfenstein... I forget what the first one was called.
Wolfenstein 2 is on Game Pass.
Well, you still need to play the first one.
Okay, I'll look see if it's on there while you're talking.
But no, when they rebooted this one, you play as obviously BJ Blazkowicz during World War II, and he is of Jewish Polish descent, raised in Texas, and is fighting for the Allies during World War II. Mm-hmm. Well, at the beginning of the first one, you take some shrapnel to the head.
Oh.
And you are basically in a vegetative state from 1945 till 1961, where Germany wins World War II. And
it's an alternate.
Takes over the world, and the Nazi scientists basically kickstart everything, and by 1961, they are as developed as we are now.
Gotcha.
So you're basically in a nursing home somewhere in Europe till 1961, and then the Nazis attack, and you come out of your vegetative state, and you proceed to kill Nazis for 2 games.
Sounds about right.
So what is it? Wolfenstein Youngblood actually takes place in the 80s in France,
Gotcha.
and you play as BJ's twin daughters. And it's not a full game. I found this out. It's more of like an add-on, kind of like they did for Wolfenstein 1. Because there's Wolfenstein: The New Order, and then the add-on for, or the technically second game for it, was called the New Blood, I think. So Youngblood, it's going to be awesome, man. I'm super excited about that one. Now, the Wolfenstein Cyber Pilot, not so much. I like VR stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and skip over Cyber Pilot.
So I see that Youngblood is coming to the Switch. I was going to ask, but I went ahead and looked it up. Because I need to look, because I played Doom on the Switch. I ended up turning it back into GameStop. Not because it wasn't playable, but you're going to hate me for this.
Dumb.
The gyro controls just weren't up to par. And then they fixed the gyro controls like right after.
Nerd.
Because I got to have... Okay. I don't like first-person shooters with dual analog. Because I feel like I'm a tank. And I'm not very good with mouse and keyboard because of the movement with the ASDW movements.
Mm-hmm.
But the mouse is nicer, but it's still not as nice. I like me some gyro or pointy controls. So I'm going to rig some stuff up soon. I found they have some Bluetooth connections for the Pro Controller, and I saw some people been playing with the gyros, so I'm going to play around with that.
Nerd. I'm doing it on PS4 so I can get that 4K goodness right
Do
to the
they have
veins.
gyro on the PS4?
No. Nobody plays with gyro.
But they have gyro built into the controller.
Nobody plays with gyro.
Oh, Switch gamers do, because we are better. All right. Next one. Ghostwire. I don't remember. They didn't really show gameplay.
No, they didn't. Everybody thought that Ghostwire was going to be Evil Within 3 because it's the same people who worked on Evil Within 1 and 2, which, by the way, I forget the guy's name, but he was the one who created Resident Evil, or worked on Resident Evil, the original ones. I don't remember. But that's why the Evil Within was, they were so good, because they went back to the old school, just terrorizing gameplay of Resident Evil. So when they announced this Ghostwire Tokyo, like, that blew me away, just because, like I said, thought it was going to be Evil Within 3.
Right. So one thing that was the big hit about Ghostwire was the lady that was coming out to present it. She was super cute. And then I just thought it was really funny because like a little loud screeching part of the internet was like, you can't call people cute. Then they're like, yeah, you can.
Well, she was kawaii.
Yeah, I mean, she was supposed to be. And then everybody loved her. So, I guess that was pretty much the highlight of the Bethesda conference. I thought Ghostwire was another conference, though.
No, Ghostwire was Bethesda.
Oh, okay. So, I guess I'll take back something I was going to say later.
Deathloop. That was the second game in the whole Groundhog saga that we have this year. I hate Groundhog's Day type movies, TV shows, games. I'm out of this
That's
one.
a good... I think we've just made a genre. Groundhog's Day genre.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Okay, cool. So, we'll have to talk about those soon. All right, next one on our list. Why? So, Fallout 76 and Fortnite had a baby because they loved each other very much. Or Todd Howard loves money. And he had money with There's a freaking Fallout Fortnite style game with nuclear winter.
I don't like Battle Royales. I don't like Fallout 76. I'm out.
Okay, so this drives me freaking bonkers. Because this whole conference, we're like, we're sorry. They didn't say it, but you knew, like, reading in between the lines why they said we're sorry 4 billion times during the conference. And it's like, we're super inclusive. Look at all the people that play games. They're just like you. They're millennials or whatever you want to say. And it's all because Fallout 76 was rowdy.
A turd.
There you go.
A dog turd.
Yes. And so what they decided to do was announce Fallout 76, and they started off right. They started off talking about an expansion that to me, they didn't say strong enough that it was coming out in the fall, because I thought it was out on this free trial week. It's like, hey, everybody, check out Fallout. It's fun again. Try it for a week for free. I did.
Yeah, it's gonna be their year 2 update.
Yeah,
and it's gonna include NPCs. It's basically people coming back into the wasteland after they had left. I'm gonna pick it up again at that point, but I don't know how long I'll play it.
So, and that's the thing. Like, I tried the game and I couldn't find the NPCs. I was looking so hard, and I thought, oh man, what do I have to do to get there? And I looked it up later. It's like, oh, it's not in this update. Why am I playing for this week?
Dumb.
So I'll talk more about that next episode. But what drives me crazy about this is they presented this, and I'm going to use your rating of this game. They presented this first with, look at this. Here's a single-player game that you could have fun with again, and it's Fallout again. They gave me the icing. They started by showing me the pretty rainbow sprinkled icing with the little confetti flat things, not quite the sprinkles of the hard sugar that tastes gross because there's too much food coloring in it. It's just a light food coloring on top, and it's probably, I don't know, cream cheese and delicious. And then they presented that on top of the dog turd that was Nuclear Winter Fortnite style Fallout. So I went in expecting this trial week to be delightfully, and I was going to avoid the dog turd of it. And I went in, took a bite of this game,
and it was awful.
It was awful. There was no happy sprinkles, confetti sprinkles, or icing. It was all, you know what.
So moving on from that, like we already said, we got Commander Keen. It was we mentioned that one for iOS, Android, mobile, all that good junk. Mm-hmm. But Elder Scrolls Blades now coming to Switch. I've played some Elder Scrolls Blades. Meh.
So I'm kind of excited for this. Mainly because it's coming to the Switch. It's a free game. I'm sure they're going to figure out a way to bleed you to death in this game with lots of loot boxes.
They've already done it.
I like the ideas of using the Joy-Cons to slash and hit things. But I guess my question is, I have not played it. I haven't looked up a lot of it. You said you've played it.
Mm-hmm.
How does this play? Is it like on rails? Is it, and you just slap things? Or is it more of a full game?
You could go to town and talk with people. You can... that's where you buy your stuff. You can upgrade all your stuff, things like that. But then you can go to like an arena and fight. But when you fight somebody, like they're on the screen and you have to like slash with your finger across it, so they can block and stuff. So you have to like swing different ways, to hit them. So, and then once I got done with like the first couple of fights, I was done with this game. I don't even know how magic works, if it's even in there.
Do you have to swing a specific way?
Yes.
That what... Okay, so there is a game by the Guacamelee people. I'll have to look it up exactly, but it sounds like that. I'll look it up in just a little bit and pull it up then. But there's this other mobile game by them, and you have to like cut in certain directions and cut off parts of enemies and things like that. It was kind of boring, honestly. I got it for the Wii U. And that sounds like this. So, can you block? Can you like hold up a shield?
If you have a shield.
Is there a storyline? Or is it just like...
Not that I found, but I didn't play it that long.
Go and find... Okay, so... I'm not that excited anymore. Thanks for killing that, Rowdy. Now I just hate everything about this conference.
Oh, no, man, they got Doom Eternal.
Oh, what's Doom Eternal?
Doom Eternal, it's basically going to be awesome. That's all I can say about it. I mean, the last Doom reboot, Doom 2016, was awesome. This is going to be a continuation of it. It's going to be faster. It's going to be more ridiculous. You can go to heaven this time and blow shit up. I mean, come on, man. It's going to be awesome.
Whoa, so they're kind of going Diablo expansion style where you can actually go to heaven.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Interesting.
Because for all the Doom games,
monsters took over heaven or something.
They're on hell and earth, and you go back and forth. But this time, and Mars. My bad. Mars and hell.
Mars and hell.
But yeah, man. So that was basically Bethesda's conference.
By the way, Severed is the game
Gotcha.
that looks like what Elder Scrolls is doing. The difference is Severed was this sort of not really a Dia de los Muertos stylization, but it had a very certain aesthetic to the game that was cool looking.
I don't know. I've never been a big fan of the games where you have to specifically take out a body part ever since like Dead Space back in the 360 PS3 days. So just kind of ruined it for me.
I like that in Eternal Darkness because that was like one of the first games that really did that. That and like Biohazard. Mm-hmm. Remember those games?
Biohazard's Resident Evil.
No. The Biohazard, or is it Bioshock?
Bioshock.
An old fighting game?
No.
Yeah. No, there's an old like fighting game I'll have to pull up later too.
Biohazard is Resident Evil, but Japan.
Huh.
You mean Biofreaks?
Biofreak sounds right.
Yeah, that was a 64 game.
Yeah, that you would like take off people's arms and beat them with it, right? That was back when 3D fighting games were fun.
No, they weren't.
Okay, they were terrible, but they sounded like they could be fun. I used to play a really terrible 3D fighting game because 3D fighting games I thought were really cool. Dark Rift. I paid like $85 for that game back in the day.
Dumb.
At like Walmart back whenever. Nintendo 64 games were expensive.
Yeah.
They were hard to find too, man.
Ugh.
Remember like whenever there was no GameStop?
Yeah.
You had
to go to like Walmart or some crap like that.
And they never had the real games that you wanted. You didn't know what they were anyway because the internet wasn't the same where you can't turn without finding out every single thing about the game.
Yeah.
Hey, so I think we're due with Bethesda.
Yeah, so the next one wasn't necessarily a conference, but
it was like awesome though.
Direct style approach to it. Devolver.
Devolver was amazing. They have the strangest conference. It's always psychotic and
it's funny, man.
It's funny. It's definitely
the whole Nina character. I thought was really funny.
If you're, you got to watch out though because it's very much a rated R conference.
Definitely,
it is like a trauma film, but not as bad.
I liked when she couldn't curse in that one and like all the replacement curse words she used. Yeah. That was really funny, man.
Snarfle. I don't know if that was one of the words.
Why in the flip can't I curse anymore?
So we always used at work cluster truck.
But people know what that is. You got to say fuster cluck.
I would screw that up too bad. All right, but anyway, there were some good games. Now the one that was just DLC was the Messenger Picnic Panic release.
The Messenger was fun.
Yeah. I'm going to try it out on Game Pass because it's on there.
Nice.
One thing I thought was really cool was Enter the Gungeon House of the Gundead because it's an arcade cabinet.
I'm not playing that. I'm not going to buy an arcade cabinet just to play that.
I probably wouldn't either, but I just like the novelty of it.
Enter the Gungeon was really fun.
I haven't played Into the Gungeon. It's basically like awesome. Bullet hell, right?
Yes, it's awesome.
I'd probably hate it. I'd probably hate it with every part of my being. But I like the cabinet.
Fall Guys. Fall Guys looks awesome.
Fall Guys looks good. And it's a battle royale, technically.
Well, see, I was looking into it, and yeah, it is kind of battle royale, but they say it plays more like a game show, like a playable game show. That looks cool. Mm-hmm. The Devolver bootleg game, that was awesome. Just looking at like the different names for the bootleg games, like Hotline Milwaukee, and Enter the Gun Dungeon.
Yeah, and if you've never played a bootleg game, I mean, if you go to the mall around Christmas time, and you see like those game packs are like 250 games in one, just plug this up to your TV and you can buy all these games. It's usually like rip-off games or like those that say like they have 800,000 games. It's like the same game over and over and they've changed like slight skins of color or whatever and they're terrible. There's a good YouTube channel, Rarez, does a lot of good stuff on like the worst gaming consoles and they're always those like $25 consoles that have a billion games. But bootleg games are usually made like some of the original bootleg games come from like Russia back during the communist Russia eras, or you look into Chinese games that are taking things like from Mickey Mouse and Mario, and they kind of combine
Dude,
them.
so funny.
The Devolver bootleg thing is genius.
But their next one, Carry On, that looks cool.
Looks cool.
The reverse horror game where you play as the monster and you have to eat all the people.
Mm-hmm. That looks fun.
It looks kind of like they took the idea from, what is it, The Thing? Was that movie where they were in the base in Antarctica and they had to like burn the blood to find out who was
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they got the idea from that. That was cool. But yeah, theirs was pretty awesome.
Devolver Conference was good. Next one, Take-Two Interactive and Take-Two Games. Borderlands 3, man.
I'm super excited about Borderlands 3. I just can't stand anytime Randy Pitchford comes out.
Who?
That dude from Take-Two. He sucks.
So, I saw they had Borderlands 3 for $3.
No, you didn't.
I'm sorry, Borderlands 2 Handsome Edition.
Gotcha.
So I grabbed I had to grab a copy because I got to play through Borderlands 2 because I only played a little bit. But I'm going to give away a copy of Borderlands Handsome Edition in the future.
Nice.
So if you're listening, check our Twitter, and I'll put a code or I'll come up with a contest for that later on because we get a copy of that now. But Borderlands 3 looks good. I like the art style.
I went to I have Handsome Edition. I got it on PS4 for free for the, what is it? I don't know, whatever. I really need to find out what that PlayStation service is called because I subscribe to it and I don't know what it's called. But I got the Handsome Edition and I was going to play Borderlands 2 so that I could play the DLC that they just announced for it at E3 that connects to Borderlands 3. But I started playing it and you can't automatically go to that DLC. It was taking too much time to get to everything. I'm just going to go straight into Borderlands 3. It'll be fine.
So that was really the main thing on that conference. I pulled a list off the internets with a bunch of stuff because that's just how it was easier to load up for the show. It said that they showed the Outer Worlds at that conference. I don't remember that. I don't think Take-Two is involved. You said Outer Wilds, but that's not them either. Next one was a pretty good set of games. I don't know if these were at conferences themselves. I think they were just announced or part of Microsoft conferences or PC. But CD Projekt Red has some cool games coming out. The first one, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
The Switcher.
The Switcher 3 is coming to Switch. It has been rumored. There have been whispers on the wind of Witcher 3, and it's true. They are fitting that behemoth of a game, and you don't have to download anything. It is all going on little bitty cart, 32 gigabyte cart. They're going to have all the DLC. They have the main game. It's bonkers.
I got it on PC here a while back. I just need to boot it back up.
I have a concern with Witcher 3. I got Witcher 1, played it for 10 minutes, hated it. Hate the controls. People are like, oh my goodness, Witcher 2 is so much better. Played it for 10 minutes.
It's not.
Hated the controls. Witcher 3, everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing ever.
It doesn't control like either of those.
Okay, so I can get this game.
It's more like a third-person Skyrim.
Now, I will say I'm probably not going to get this on the Switch. Some of these, role-playing games, I do like the graphical clarity. And I looked at the, it looks good on the Switch. But I think I would enjoy it more on the PC, maybe.
Definitely.
So, I'd probably get that on there. But it looks good, though. If you want to play it on the go, if you want to, be in public spaces and have naked people on your screen, more power to you, I guess. I just don't see myself playing that.
Yeah, people do that with their cell phones all the time.
Yeah, I just like some games, especially one that's at an R-rated level, like The Witcher 3. I don't want to be in public and be playing that.
Yeah.
There's some games that I will not bring on the go. The next one, Cyberpunk, man.
Look, man, they had me sold last year when they put out that hour of gameplay.
Oh, yeah.
And then
And that's a good thing. They showed gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, and then this year they had that original, or the was it the CGI or whatever the hell they put out for it, the preview this year, and then they ended with Keanu Reeves. I mean, I was sold before Keanu Reeves came out, and they now say that Keanu Reeves is going to have the second most dialogue in the game.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, that doesn't sell it for me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Keanu Reeves, and he's awesome and everything, but I was sold before they put Keanu Reeves in the game.
So it's really funny to me right now that this Keanu Reeves thing blew up. Because, I mean, it's turned into a meme. It's become huge. And he's recently been in a movie lately. I have to ask the wife. Let me phone a wife. Hey, wife. What movie did we watch?
Always Be My Maybe.
Dude, he was hilarious in that.
Always Be My Maybe. And he was really...
He was hilarious in that. He played himself, but a very exaggerated version of himself.
And so I think the synergy between that movie being released recently, and it wasn't that big, honestly.
It's a Netflix movie.
Yeah, it's a Netflix movie. Mm-hmm. But then this announcement, and everybody's hyped up about Cyberpunk being a Project CD,
CD Projekt Red?
CD Projekt Red project. Too many projects. I think that's what made this blow up so big. And of course, I mean, the guy thinks like on his feet, the "you're breathtaking" moment. Because if you don't know, we made a joke about it at the beginning. Whenever he came out on stage and people were freaking out, somebody in the audience goes, "You're breathtaking," and he like does this exaggerated point to him, like, "You're breathtaking," and it was good. He had a good deflection. He rolled a 20 and got maximum points on that for charisma.
Oh yeah.
But the game looks good. I like the fact that it does look cinematic, and that's what I think is really important. Because we are at the cusp of games being more cinematic than movies.
I read some more behind the scenes stuff or about the behind the scenes demo that a lot of people got to go to, and everybody kept saying no loading. They played this demo and there was absolutely no loading in like the hour-long demo that they got to play.
It's probably on a solid state drive too.
I mean, there's definitely going to be loading when it comes out.
I really find it funny that discs have won the war over CDs. I think we've talked about that in a previous episode, but we're now to the point to where disc-based media has won, and it's making games better to play. It's killing some of the bottlenecks that were on CD loading and things like that.
I'm just still mad that all the solid-state drives I'm trying to buy are so expensive.
They're getting cheaper though, man.
The one I'm looking at's a 2 terabyte, and it's $350 right now, and that's a cheaper one.
I bet it is.
And that's just an external one.
Yeah, because you got to use it for your Mac. Get those internal ones; they're not that bad.
Well, I
can't fit that in there though.
I can't fit that in here because Mac, on their recent ones, have decided to solder in that shit, and you can't get it out.
Sounds about right.
Believe me, I've looked into it.
Okay, so anyway. Cyberpunk 2077, if you don't know anything about the Cyberpunk universe, there's an old RPG game called Cyberpunk 2020 that is kind of based off of. And a lot of other games like Shadowrun and things like that are kind of based in these universes to where you have like a collapse of society. And it's going to be a really interesting thing to see how close it is to the old school Cyberpunk universe. I've actually just downloaded a book that is kind of what Cyberpunk 2020 is based off of, called Hardwired. So I'm going to be reading that this week to get a concept of like how these games are going to be, because I haven't done much with Cyberpunk games other than Shadowruns. So I'm pretty excited about the storyline, and they kind of go into the idea of being Too Human, or I'm sorry, not Too Human. What Too Human was supposed to be.
Too Human was a turd of a game.
Well, I know. Poor Dyack. The idea of becoming too augmented. And they go into that in another game. What is that game called? I forgot it. Basically, you can add different upgrades to your arms and body. Deus Ex. Deus Ex. They kind of go into those ideas in that game, too. which is still kind of based off of the cyberpunk universes, honestly, or the ideas that come from it. So I'm curious to see how this goes. I've seen some, I guess, controversy online to where people were trying to figure out how to say this, were saying that they treated women inappropriately inside the game because they made them look less than human. Some that were augmented to be essentially prostitutes. But that's the idea behind the game, is that the more augmented you become, the less human you become.
I mean,
so
it's
there's
going
going to be some interesting concepts.
It's going to sell no matter what people say about it on the internet.
Oh yeah, man, it's going to be it's going to be a good time. All right, so I think we should move on to Konami. Had a couple of announcements.
You mean Konami?
You know what, Rowdy? Up, down, A, B, and select start.
Man, you can't even say the Contra code right.
Dang it!
So,
Konami.
what? They're releasing, what is it? Contra Rogue Core? I think it looks like a turd of a game. And I love Contra games.
You can be a panda or some sort of weird furry.
No. It's if I'm not mistaken, that is actually a cyborg. But no, I looked into the game. Like I really wanted to try and like this game, but the more I read about it, the more I hate it.
I
play as a cyborg.
The people listening to this podcast can see my face right now.
A cyborg panda.
Just know that it's not a. It's a. Yeah.
Now the Contra Anniversary Collection, I picked this up and I have played the hell out of this. Contra 3 Alien Wars, I can't tell you how many hours I put into that on my Super Nintendo, and I just recently put about 2 hours more into it.
Fancy.
Love it. It's awesome. You should pick it up.
Nah. I'm just not a big Contra fan. Like, I play it, but it's not something I can spend a lot of time with.
That's just the thing. You don't have to spend a lot of time with it.
That's the thing. I don't spend a lot of time with it.
You don't have to.
But I don't.
It's quick and easy.
But I won't. Like your mom. Ah. Okay.
All right, Square Enix.
Okay, Square Enix. Okay.
Or should we say the Square Enix?
Squeenix?
Where was I going with this? It's basically the port-a-thon.
Square Enix ported their E3 this year.
I mean, it was just a bunch of ports.
This is a re-release E3 for Square Enix.
Ugh.
This is so it's like Collection Party, and do they have anything new?
Well, I mean, besides the 7 remake
not
and Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Okay, so Square Enix at this point only releases their old games. They only release sequels, and they release collections and remastered copies. Do you know who they've become?
Nintendo?
Capcom.
Yes.
Square Enix is the new Capcom. Bethesda is becoming the new EA.
Yeah.
It's the cycle of life.
But yeah, so for this one, it was just basically, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Oh, it's going to be
it's
updated.
a game that they really didn't put much effort into the GameCube.
Final Fantasy VIII Remastered.
Oh, I posted, by the way, one of our biggest liked things on Twitter was I did Final Fantasy. Which Final Fantasy we're going to release? Rolls Dice 8.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's pretty much somebody.
Pretty soon you'll be able to roll a D20 and pick which one.
Man, I got people ticked off because I just found a GIF that showed a D20 getting rolled. Oh, it's not an 8. People got onto them for that because.
Oh man.
I mean, I guess I could have found some dice and rolled until I hit an 8, but that takes work.
Yeah.
Okay, so
basically it was just those remasters, those collections, those ports. You had the new ones like Dragon Quest Builders 2, which looks pretty good.
Yeah.
They had the DLC for Final Fantasy 14. That all looked cool, but their main focus for this one was the Avengers game and Final Fantasy 7 remake.
Okay, so don't forget though, Collection of Mana.
Yeah.
I bought it.
that was a collection though.
I bought it. I'll talk more about that one next episode. Anyway,
but so the Final Fantasy remake, that was a lot about it. We're gonna do a deep dive on Final Fantasy VII remake in the next one because I found out so much about this game that actually makes me a little worried. We'll go through more of that in the next episode.
So-
But then, what's up?
I want to talk about the Avengers real quick.
Yeah.
And the Avengers ticked me off.
And how we didn't see any gameplay? Or what
So-
could have possibly been gameplay?
But they advertised it like I saw people posting online. Look at this gameplay footage that's coming from Avengers. And it's not gameplay. It is scripted. It is live engine. Like they are not showing you CGI. It looks really freaking good. But it's more like a like the Nintendo 64 used to do, where it had the actual game engine running your what would be in place of CGI,
Yes.
your cutscenes. But there was no like GUI, graphical user interface, heads-up display, whatever you want to call it. There was, it was just watching a movie.
Okay, so I want to talk about that. There was a lot of I've read some interviews about behind the scenes where people played the demo.
Mm-hmm.
The demo they played was actually that.
Really?
Yeah.
So there was no.
So they basically they got to play the game, and it was that demo. So where they talked about how the way that the demo was set up was you played X amount of time as Hulk, X amount of time as Iron Man, and so on down the line. And they talked about how they talked about the different ways that each one played, and how that's not necessarily how the final game is going to be. But they say when they played Iron Man, it was when he was flying, it was on rails.
So that's what I was about. So this is essentially on rails Avengers.
Well, until he landed, then it became
A different, like a
beat 'em up.
Yeah.
So then Hulk is more about traversal with his big jumps and everything.
Right.
Let's see, Captain America and Black Widow are going to be your main beat 'em up characters. Thor, his was very God of War-esque because you could throw the hammer and then call it back in the middle of your combos. And basically, a lot of people weren't necessarily impressed with it because it was basically just the demo that we saw that we were like, this isn't gameplay. It turns out that was the demo that people were playing behind the scenes.
Huh. So basically, it's scripted gameplay.
Yes.
You're shoehorned into following what they want you to do, not the other way around.
No, okay, so for this demo,
So you have a lack of freedom.
So my main issue with this game is that it's going to be a games as a service game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like your Destinies and things like that. So I'm wondering, what's like how is this? How are they going to do that? Because
They got to
in
build
the
new
demo,
scenes. Yeah.
Captain America dies, but you could still play as Captain America. So obviously he's gonna come back.
You know what they're gonna do with this? They're gonna recreate scenes from the movies or scenes from the comics and release those as almost like issues or.
They don't have enough money for that, man. I mean, they already used third-rate
actors, and then people got ticked off that they didn't use the.
Well, no. I mean, they use the best voice actors you can get in the business.
No, I got what you're saying.
When it came to the mocap and everything, just the visualizations of them just look like the nerdy younger siblings of these characters. It was awful.
And that's one thing people have been ticked off about is it just doesn't. That
doesn't look
looks
like them.
off. Yeah, I don't know.
If you could have used hundreds of other Avengers characters. But you decided to go with the ones from the movies and not make them look like the movies. Wait, I take that back. So they used
the voice
Ant-Man.
actors.
They used Ant-Man or to do the mocap, but not the visual representations of them.
Gotcha.
Because their main thing is you got Nolan North and Troy Baker in there, which if you're going to do any kind of voiceover, your two male leads are always going to be Troy Baker and Nolan North, and your female leads are always going to be Laura Bailey, and they got all three of those. But they didn't use their visual likeness. They just mocapped for them, I think. I'm not excited about it. I need to see more about that game, man.
Yep.
Holy crap, we still got a lot more to go.
This is going to be a long episode.
Ubisoft.
Okay.
We were really excited about Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah, Watch Dogs Legion was really looking at this list. I mean, if you watch their conference, it was just like Tom Clancy's, Tom Clancy's, Tom Clancy's, Tom Clancy's, Tom Clancy walks a dog, Tom Clancy goes and eats breakfast, Tom Clancy shoots people.
Tom Clancy's Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I'd watch that.
Ugh.
Just to see it. So, the Watch Dogs Legion is the big news from it, and we talked about that at the beginning of this.
It looks awesome. I'm super excited about it.
For Honor 2? Didn't they already have a For Honor?
No, it's just a DLC, I think.
Oh, it was just DLC? Okay.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey has an update. Woo!
I mean, they say since Assassin's Creed Origins, it's been a great a reboot for the well, not a reboot for the series, but it's been a great undertaking for the series ever since Origin. Mm-hmm. There was rumor before the conference that there was going to be another Assassin's Creed that they were going to announce that takes place in the Vikings era. Yeah. And this was supposed to be like a trilogy, like the Origins, Odyssey, and then whatever the Vikings one was going to be was a new trilogy of Assassin's Creeds. And that sounds pretty cool. But I need to go back and play these, man, because I kind of fell off since Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Gotcha. So, Division 2, same old game. I don't think there's anything massively new about it.
Well, Division 2's been out.
Yeah.
They were just talking about the update for it.
Yeah, good. I mean, this is all this was. It was like an update conference.
Roller Champions look cool.
I'm so proud of them they didn't bring Aisha Tyler to this one, because I can only hear Girlwood so many times.
I could only hear her as Lana from Archer. Like, anytime I see Aisha Tyler.
You're a fan of her, yeah. And there was also, they announced a Wii game.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
It was intermission, really. I mean, whenever you announce Just Dance after you've had, Tom Clancy has big, fiery guns and stuff, and then it's like, all right, I better let's go up and watch Just Dance.
But the thing is,
it's intermission. That's really all it was.
They put it on the Wii because it still sells on the Wii. That's the craziest part about it. That's why they're putting it on the Wii. The Switch is out. I mean, the Wii was 2 generations ago, and they're still putting it out on there because it still sells.
I just bought a Wii.
You just bought 2 Wiis.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that next one too. All right. So, Gods and Monsters.
We didn't see anything about it.
Yeah.
They keep saying Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild-esque. We'll see.
Sure. Roller Champions is essentially...
Rocket League on skates.
Yeah, but it's a roller derby game.
Yeah.
So... But
you still have to get the ball into the little hoop.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's going to be a niche game, honestly. It's going to be... It doesn't tell you which platforms it's for other than the PC download was available now.
Yeah.
I mean, it might work on a more party-oriented system like the Switch. I just don't know, where... I guess it'll be fine. Whatever.
It's their answer to Rocket League, basically.
Yeah, and I know that roller derby is kind of a big thing with...
Yeah, quit being a dick about it.
With 30s to 40s, women. But I just don't see them getting this game. Or,
I don't know, man.
It just doesn't seem like a big enough audience for Ubisoft, which is a massive distributor.
I may check it out, but like I said, it just looks like roller derby Rocket League.
Gotcha. Sega! Sega is next on our group. I am super excited about Phantasy Star Online 2.
I knew you would.
Super excited. Did you play PSO with me on the GameCube?
I did a little bit, and I played a lot of the Phantasy Star Onlines from the Genesis days. But this one doesn't really speak to me.
It's going to speak to me. It's going to speak to me all night long.
I was going to say, it's going to pillow talk to you.
How you doing? Now, so Phantasy Star Online, though, is going to be released for Xbox One exclusively for a little while. It's still coming to Switch. It's still coming to your other consoles. They announced it during the Xbox conference. So... Yeah, I mean, I'm going to end up getting it whenever it comes to the Switch because more people that I'll play this with are on the Switch. There were some other cool things. They have a Panzer Dragoon remake.
Looks pretty cool.
Looks okay. I mean, it doesn't look anything spectacular, honestly.
Yeah.
Fan service game, really. Then they have the Sega Genesis mini console because everybody's getting into the mini console thing because Nintendo did so well.
Yeah, it doesn't excite me.
They have Earthworm Jim. That's cool to me. But yeah, it's with mini games like Mega Man: The Wily Wars, Earthworm Jim, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, Echo the Dolphin, and 35 more classic games. Sure. Meh. Yeah. All right. Next up, Namco Bandai. New Dragon Ball Z game, Kakarot.
Yeah.
Looks fun. It's RPG-ish.
I'm out.
The others, I mean, really, Tales of Arise looks good.
Isn't Code Vein already out?
I have no clue.
I think it's already out.
Yeah. Tales of Arise is going to be another Tales of game. I played Tales of Vesperia for the Switch. I hated it, man. It just felt dead to me, and I'm sure that ticked somebody off somewhere. I think my wife hated it more because the voice acting was god-awful. It was just too much for me. Hopefully Tales of Arise is good. Tales of Symphonia was one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah, that one was good.
But since then, it's just been downhill to me. I have not played Tales of Berseria. I'm kind of waiting for that to come to the Switch, if it does. Okay, so other, like, just kind of random releases. Elden Ring?
Bandai Namco's doing Elden Ring. I mean, I know it's From Software, but
yeah.
Bandai Namco's publishing it.
Elden Ring, to me, sounds like one of the wildest combinations of creators. You have George R.R. Martin,
yes,
known for...
A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones,
Game
basically.
of Thrones, I should know that. And then you have Miyazaki. How do you combine these?
Miyazaki?
Isn't that what it was?
No.
Who was it?
It's the people from Software.
Oh! I could have sworn it was Miyazaki.
No.
Okay.
I mean, the dude's name may be Miyazaki, but it's not Studio Ghibli Miyazaki.
Okay, see, that's what I was thinking.
No.
Miyazaki, Hidetaka Miyazaki. Okay.
Yeah, no.
That makes more sense to me. I was like, is Miyazaki dead?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so now that makes more sense to me because in my mind I'm thinking like Princess Nausicaa mixed with Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine that happening.
So my whole thing, this Elden Ring, I'm out. Because look, man,
What, you don't want Sekiro mixed
No.
with George R.R. Martin where they're going to
No.
murder all the main characters?
Like-
you know there's permadeath in this game.
like Dark Souls, I was out on Dark Souls, and then I tried Sekiro, and y'all have heard me talk about that. I'm done with that one.
So
I'm out on this one.
what I really find funny is, and once again, probably tick somebody off, to me, George R.R. Martin is kind of like a wannabe Lord of the Rings creator.
Yeah, Tolkien?
Yeah. And he releases a game called Elden Ring
Yeah.
that talks about taking a ring that was destroyed and being reforged.
Yeah.
It's like some weird quasi-sequel to
Like,
Lord of the Rings.
Look, it's gonna be an awesome game, and
I'm
I know
sure
people
it
are gonna
is.
like it, and it's gonna look great. But I'm out, man.
But you know what he should be doing instead of making this game?
Writing the damn books,
Finishing the books. That's what he should be doing.
man. Oh crap! Okay, I forgot about this one. The next game.
Oh my gosh.
Dying Light 2, I am super excited about. Dying Light was a game that creeped up on me. I bought it because I thought it was another game. I can't remember what it was. That's how good Dying Light was. I can't remember the game I thought it was. But Dying Light, it creeped up on me, and it was so good. I loved it. I mean, just everything about it was so fun. And then out of nowhere, they released the an update for it, and for a certain time, it was free. So I downloaded it thinking I was just going to get, 2 or 3 more hours out of it. No, it was like another half of a game added onto it, and they added in driving to it, and oh, dude, it's so good. If you have not played Dying Light, I'm pretty sure it's on sale on Steam. Go get that. It is so much fun, and Dying Light 2 looks like it's going to be just as much fun.
Sweet.
I'm super excited.
Let's see. There was Dauntless is coming. What a succinct explanation of this game. The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance.
I don't know about that, man. I love Dark Crystal. This
It's an SRPG. It's a cash in.
It's a cash grab, man.
Yeah. If you don't know SRPG, it's strategy RPG, basically Fire Emblem. Next, new Super Lucky's Tale. Whatever. Empire of Sin didn't have any actual gameplay.
Nope, I'm out.
Footage.
It's a John Romero game.
I like SRPGs, and that's pretty much what this is. It looks like the games I was talking about earlier, the cyberpunk-esque type games.
Like a... oh my god. Shadowrun.
Shadowrun, yes. It looks like a Shadowrun. I'll probably get it. Ukulele, sure. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, don't even remember it. So that tells you how much I thought about that game. Let's talk about the final...
Go back up. Was Dead by Daylight. Check that one out. Coming out on Switch. Check that one out. Looks awesome. I mean, it's been out and it's cool, but check it out.
Okay, so we're gonna get to the final kind of conference and announcements. Nintendo conference, man.
They ported everything. Any game you could think of just got ported to the Switch.
Yep, it is portable now.
So they started talking about, we just did Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 0, and now we're going to do Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. Don't play those games, people.
They're just going to port more of them.
They're just going to port more if you keep playing it.
Did Capcom have a conference this year?
No.
You know why?
Because they were on Nintendo.
They just port things. That's all they do. Eventually, Squeenix is going to get rid of theirs. Mario and Sonic, the Olympic Games. I was so mad whenever that came out. You know why? They showed Mario on a soccer field.
Oh, yes. So you thought it was Sonic Strikers?
I thought it was the new Strikers. I was so excited. Like, yes, they're going to release those Strikers. One of the best soccer games, or for those that are not in America, because some people don't listen to football. They are... I want it, and it's sad. And it's a stupid Olympics game. All right, No More Heroes 3 looks awesome.
I'm out.
You didn't like No More Heroes?
Nah.
Dude, I love me some No More Heroes. I like that group since they released that game, like 7, I think it was called.
What's his name? Suda51?
Yeah.
He puts out some good-looking stuff. I just wasn't a big fan of...
something like that.
I just wasn't a big fan of No More Heroes.
Yeah. Oh, I like No More Heroes. Okay, I could be partial because the guy's name is Travis.
Dumb.
It's Travis. Touchdown. Next one, Dragon Quest Builders 2 looks good. It's all, Dragon Quest X1, what is that?
11.
11.
No, that one looks awesome.
Echoes of Illusion. It looks really good. And they have a 2D version.
Oh, yeah. No. You could switch back and forth in the game.
I probably won't play it because I want the 3D.
No. It is 3D as well.
I know, but I'm saying,
you're
I
not
like
gonna
the
switch.
idea, but I don't know if I ever will.
Gotcha.
That one looks really good. I'm gonna get it for the Switch, I think, because I think I could play that on the go.
Well, this definitive edition is only coming out on the Switch.
Yeah.
Involved.
Well, okay, so aren't they? No, that's the. Well, Ni no Kuni is coming to the Switch too.
Yeah.
And they have a Switch edition, which is like the definitive edition, or the regular edition. Then they have the special edition or remastered edition for the PS4 or Xbox, and it's just higher resolution. There's no differences. But that was one that was announced. It's not on our list. But it looks good. Another port. Now they are re-releasing the slime controller.
Shut your face.
Have you seen the slime controller?
Oh, yeah. No, I wanted one, but I've never played a Dragon Quest game, so I didn't get it.
I can't use that controller. I feel like I'd be violating the slime.
Stop listening to this right now and go look up the Dragon Quest slime controller for PS4.
Go look on our Twitter at LamerGamersCast on Twitter. I posted about it.
Oh my god!
As a reply, I'll post it again today.
It's awesome.
It's you literally the controls are on its underside.
It's on the butt.
I feel like I was just violating this slime if I would play with it. I'm sure it's comfortable. But it's ridiculous.
Oh, all right. Man. What else here?
Next up, Fire Emblem Three Houses looks good. I'm planning on getting that. I got Fire Emblem's Warrior, and I'm really liking it. Three Houses, it's looking better every time I see it.
I thought it sounded dumb in theory until I saw the preview this year. Mm-hmm. And now I like the school aspect of it where you train them. That's kind of cool.
So they did a direct where they showed a lot of Fire Emblem Three Houses footage and kind of explain the game. And I noticed the graphics look better at this E3 than they did at that. And that is very emblematic of Nintendo. They don't bullshot you.
What is bullshot?
Okay, bullshot is the concept of releasing video game footage that looks better and saying it's gameplay footage while it's in development as a target on what the game's going to look like, but it rarely ever looks that good.
Oh, okay.
So, that's what I'm worried about the Avengers is because to me, even though apparently it was gameplay footage, it's still bullshot, which sounds a lot like bull. You know what?
Yeah.
So I find it interesting. The game is starting to look better, and it looks a lot cleaner. And I was playing Fire Emblem Warriors, and it looked similar to what was, I guess, in video for Fire Emblem's Three Houses during the Direct, and both games look pretty good. So I'm excited about it. I was worried more on a graphical front because it just looked kind of empty. Next one, Cadence of Hyrule. Crypt of the Necrodancer has Legend of Zelda stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's nifty. It's already been talked about.
Meh,
People are
I'm out.
complaining that it's too hard.
I'm out.
And you can apparently turn off the rhythm section of it. and
But
just
isn't
play
a
it.
rhythm game?
It is, but you can apparently turn it off because so many people were complaining that it was too hard to play.
Weird.
Yeah. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 looks decent.
Totally getting it. It's going to be awesome.
I think it looks more fun to play than the Avengers,
Yeah.
personally, because it's a game.
So far, yeah.
Yeah. Next one, Astral Chain had a new trailer. There's some new stuff.
I pre-ordered Astral Chain last year.
So
I'm super excited about this one.
in my head, I just said I don't like the suits they're wearing. It's just like this weird design quirk of mine. I don't like. To me, in my head, I'm constantly thinking of it as Xenoblade Ice Climbers wearing Raccoon City from Resident Evil police uniforms.
Wow. That's very specific.
But isn't it true?
No.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it definitely is very Raccoon City-ish, but it is over-the-top, like, Japanese RPG looking.
And you're stuck, but it looks like a Xenoblade game. Because I thought whenever they...
Well, I mean, it looks like a Japanese RPG.
Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of my thought. I'm going to play it. There's some very weird, quirky stuff that's in the game. Like, you can go around and get souls or unpossessed garbage cans.
Yeah. I forget what they called it, but it's that
weird.
red junk.
Yeah.
It was everywhere.
So I'm sure it'll be fun. And they said they've changed up the gameplay a little bit recently. Next one, Mario Maker 2. Looks good. We've talked about it. And not much more to talk about. It
Yeah,
just
I'm going
looks
to play
good.
it.
It comes out, I think they said, within 10 sleeps. Now,
Well, it comes out this
was
month,
yesterday.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it's about to come out.
Well, Stan.
By the time this episode comes out, it'll probably be out. Or be
Snap.
close to it. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
Awesome.
They already announced it. Looks great. They have a dungeon maker built into it.
Mm-hmm. That looks cool.
That looks really cool. Pokemon Sword and Shield.
I've
starting
already
to look
pre-ordered
better.
both of them. I
I'm
pre-ordered both of them as soon as they were ready.
sure you did.
But let me tell you right now,
Uh-oh.
pre-order them on Amazon and pre-order them individually.
Oh.
Because there's a double version that you could buy where you get both of them. It's $120.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you buy them individually, you get a $10 credit to your Amazon account. So if you buy them individually, it's only $100 because you'll get $20 added to your Amazon.
This is how Rowdy does things.
Yes. Look. So almost every game that I get out there on PS4, computer, everything like that, I do it digital. But I do everything through Switch physical.
Cartridges.
Yes. So I've even paid like $10 more for a game to get the physical edition rather than download it. But if you're going to order Pokemon, this is how you do it. And I placed them on different orders just in case they were like, oh, well, you ordered Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Shield on the same order, so you're only going to get one of the $10 discounts. I did it on 2 different orders just so I could get the 2 $10 discounts.
It looks good to me. I mean, okay, so the thing that catches my eye, I shouldn't say I used to have a professor of design that would always get ticked off whenever you'd say catches your eye. And he was awesome. One of my favorite because we've already wasted enough time. Let's waste some more. I used to have this professor, and he talked like this, and he was a short guy. And
Sound
he
like a
smoked all the
smoker.
time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was the toughest son of a gun, though. I'm not going to say his name on here, but it's great. So this game really looked good to me. I'm not going to say catch my eye now because I can just hear him like behind me. So looks like the exploration is better. It looks like they've taken some notes from Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping there's more exploration in this game than the other ones, which, if you played the Pokemon Go, which is just a recreation of Yellow.
You mean the Pokemon Let's Go?
Yeah, whatever. Pokemon, sorry. It feels constrained. I really want a Pokemon that I can go out into the forest and just find random things.
Well, see, because that's just the thing. So, if you played any of the old Pokemon games, Pokemon Let's Go played like that, but Pokemon Sun and Moon really tried to open it up, kind of like how you're talking, but it wasn't as open as it could be. It was real restrained because of the 3DS. But now with the Switch, I mean, you have these big open Breath of the Wild-esque areas. Because a lot of people have compared it to that when they had the big open, when it opened the wild area that they were showing. So it's going to be the first Pokemon, technically the first mainline Pokemon game that's on a system that you could play on your TV.
Yeah.
So they could do more with it. It looks awesome. I pre-ordered them, I don't know, a long time ago. It's awesome.
So next big game, some good and bad news. Animal Crossing: New Horizons looks. My wife just went woo. Looks great. So this one is a recreation of. Oh, dang! I was going to make a joke, but it didn't happen. Wilson with the ball.
Castaway.
Castaway. It's a recreation of Castaway.
Yeah, but you get put there by Nook.
It's devious.
Nook casts you away.
You go crazy. You start talking to a coconut and you draw a face. No, that's really not how it works. It is you're sending away on a getaway island kind of thing, package. And you start out in a tent. You eventually build a house. Other people come visit your island. It looks great. You can pole vault.
I'm gonna have to buy another Switch just so my wife can play it.
I am going to have to buy another Switch just so my wife can play it. Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to work. And hopefully by then...
There'll be a special edition, I hope. Cause
I really want a new Switch that's beefy.
Well, because I've only pre-ordered the game once, but I was going to wait and see if they did like a Nintendo Switch Animal Crossing edition, like they did with the Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah. And I'm hoping there's some more rumors going around. Was going to talk about it this episode. I think you're going to have to move the rumors to next episode.
Yeah.
That there are some new Switches possibly. There's some Chinese manufacturer leaks saying that they are working on a Switch Mini. I don't know if that's going to be a China-only edition, though. And then there is a new Tegra X information that has leaked from XDA developers that is a rework of Tegra X chipset that has a higher GPU setting. So there's some hope coming out for new Switches. But anyway, the Animal Crossing looks great. It looks like they're putting in a lot of content. The bad news is...
It got delayed.
Now, it got delayed for a good reason, though. They did not want to tax their developers. They wanted to make sure they don't die under the pressure to get it out by this Christmas, because I think they're just putting in tons of content. Yeah. What it sounds like. So that's pretty good, because there's been a big call for the game industry to change some of their work habits, because there are plenty of people that work 80-hour weeks.
What's the dude who makes Smash Bros?
That dude, Satoru Iwata?
No. He's dead.
Yeah, that sounded bad. That was sad.
But I don't know. The dude who made Kirby and he does Smash Bros. The last Smash Bros. He was talking about how he actually came to work on an IV drip so that he could get his electrolytes and his nutrients.
Sakurai.
Yes.
Sakurai.
Masahiro Sakurai, that's it. So Sakurai comes to the office on an IV drip so that he could keep getting his electrolytes. He could keep getting his nutrition. He was dehydrated. So he's on a drip to keep up with everything. No!
Yep. That's how... Some days I feel like that when I'm teaching. But yeah, it's something they really need to work on with the industry, and there have been a lot of people complaining about it. Next game, Luigi's Mansion 3.
I'm in. I loved the first one. Years ago when the GameCube first came out, me and Travis were still in high school.
Yep.
And we stayed up all night playing the first Luigi's Mansion and beat it in one night.
Mm-hmm.
So then you had the sequel come out on 3DS. I hated it.
I never played the 3DS version.
Man, it was in.
I heard it was
basically
good.
put in scenario mode. So like,
like the new Avengers.
Oh God! So you had you had an area that you were in, and then you had like a scenario. You had to find like X amount of coins or whatever, and then you do that, and he's like, "Yay!" Wins that part. And then it goes back out. You pick the next scenario. I hated that. This one looks more open, like the first one was. Super excited about that.
Okay. So I mean, it looks good. A lot of people are saying it was one of the best games of E3.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
I mean, just from a gameplay perspective. And, you know, it was always a graphical masterpiece back in the day. It was a really showcase game.
yeah.
So it should look great on the Switch. And finally, the big announcement. The new Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. I mean, they haven't really announced what it's going to be called, but it is a sequel to Breath of the Wild, but it looks dark.
I don't want to speculate on it just because there are so many rumors out there right now. People talking about, Link and Zelda co-op. They're talking about how this may be the Majora's Mask version of a Zelda sequel. I don't want to go down that road just because it's all going to change in between here and there. But all I can say, super excited about it.
So I am going to go down that road for just a second. Okay, so some of the rumors that they're talking about, because we're about to hop over, I guess, we'll talk about the fake news later on, but I want to put this up there. So one of the rumors is that she's playable because she cut her hair shorter.
Okay.
Kind of silly rumor. The next one is that Zant is coming back in this one. So
I didn't like Zant.
They're kind of doing some weird Majora's Mask-esque thing. So
no, Zant was Twilight Princess.
Oh, I'm sorry, Twilight Princess. So there's some possible references to that. I don't know. None of them really sounded that legit, but those are the kind of the rumors that are flying around that I've heard.
I love Twilight Princess, but I don't think he's a villain they need to bring back.
Yeah. I do think, though, the way that they're presenting this one is going to be really interesting. And they'll probably use the same area, like the same background of...
well, you saw him, like, zoom out, and you saw, like, the whole map, and then there was, like, it looked like a little explosion around the castle.
Wasn't it, like, launching?
Like, it looked like, almost like there was, like, an earthquake.
Yeah.
And, like, that was the outline of the tectonic plate or whatever.
Yeah.
Nerd. But I don't know, it just looked like something happened there, and then it stopped. So, I bet they use like the same area, but things change in it.
You probably have to decontaminate somehow or something to make the next area available.
It turns out.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not going to go down that route. Never mind.
Okay, Rowdy's not going there. Conferences. Okay. Conferences. We got to get to this last part, and then we're going to have to end the show because we are.
God, we're over an hour and a half now.
Yeah, we're gonna. Ooh, we better watch out. We might hit 2 hours.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-hour episode.
So
Dang.
we're going to go from the worst conference and talk about why the conferences were bad to the best conferences. So, number 10.
Bethesda.
We were going to say another one.
Oh.
Okay, so the biggest problem to me was they started with apologies. When you screw up, you don't spend 20 minutes of your conference apologizing.
Dude, and it was every 2 seconds. They did, I want to say it was three different videos where members of Bethesda were like, we're sorry, but we're just like you.
And the thing is, they will say they're sorry, but they're not actually listening to the gamers.
Because they made a battle royale!
We're listening to you. We're totally listening to you. Oh, we heard bad things. But they didn't. They just did more of the same that we said we don't want from their company. And they're on the path to becoming a new EA. I mean, that is where they're going.
I mean, to get their mobile games, you've got Fallout 76 now having that battle royale. I mean, it's just...
I mean, I'm surprised every game didn't have loot boxes added to it. And it's turning into a mobile palooza. I mean, that's all that they're really releasing that's new. Because there is a ton of money in mobile, but it's not full gaming.
Yeah.
And that's what this company is known for, is like good actual games. And the Fallout thing. I mean, it was just a bad conference. It was apologetic. It didn't really announce anything new. There wasn't anything groundbreaking, but they treated it like they were us. And they're great. And we should forgive them for doing the same thing. It's like they slapped us, walked away, said, "Oh, I'm sorry," then came back and just started slapping us again.
Yep. Hey, we didn't put EA on this countdown.
That's how bad it was.
EA, I think, would be just barely above Bethesda.
Yeah, EA.
I mean, the only thing they announced was Star Wars, and they talked about a bunch of other stuff they already did. So.
Yep. So I guess Bethesda is 11th, EA is 10th,
and then 9th.
Sony is the one that didn't even show up.
I think Sony's number 9. They didn't even show up.
Yeah, they didn't show up, and they were still better than Bethesda and EA.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, that's okay. Next one, Limited Run. It was just kind of boring.
Man, I watched I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched a good bit of the Limited Run one. And for those of you who don't know, Limited Run is a company who likes to make physical versions of digital games, which is cool and all if you're a collector. There's a friend of mine, he orders pretty much everything that comes out from Limited Run. But they spent a good portion of their, I guess, direct video talking about games they were putting on the PS Vita. That system's dead.
Yeah.
It's done for.
I mean, there's no point in doing a conference when you could just do... Was it direct style or was it
was direct style. Okay. It wasn't a conference.
So, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Next one, PC conference was so boring. I watched the whole 2 hours of this conference, and it was painful to watch.
Yeah.
So... I would have put it at the very end if Bethesda and EA weren't so bad. They did 2 hours, and they had a ton of game developer interviews.
Yeah.
And we've seen in the past, these things don't work unless they're tightly edited and presented in almost a direct style. And this PC conference was definitely not the direct style. They had 2 YouTubers that were essentially presenting it, and they weren't necessarily bad presenters.
They're just not presenters.
Except for when that lady was in the shark suit.
Did they do Baby Shark?
They did Baby Shark.
Shut up. Did they
There's
really?
A shark game coming out for PC.
Oh, God.
And they did Baby Shark dressed up in the left shark suit.
Is it a Shark Battle Royale?
It probably is.
A Shark Royale?
Shark Royale.
Oh.
Anyway, so... but the thing is, they bring out these game developers, and some are, but not all game developers are the most outgoing people.
No.
And I felt like it was...
That's why they're always in dark rooms in front of computers.
I felt like it was like some sort of advertisers, like, "Oh, we should really have y'all out there, because that'd be great." And I felt like they brought them in chains from the dark rooms out in front of all these people, and they didn't know what to say, and they obviously did not practice these questions. It was very much on the fly.
Yep.
And it was super boring. And there was one where they had this guy come out that couldn't speak English very well. You could not understand him. I was watching the live chat going on.
It was like the Ubisoft conference where everybody speaks French.
Oh, it was worse than that, man. It was one of the worst. Like, they should have had either a translator out there. And I felt sorry for the guy, and everybody was kind of like, what do we do? You know, is what the audience looked like, because they had no clue what he was saying.
Oh, no.
But it was such a bad conference, and it just dragged on and on and on. They should have... And there's a ton of games that are on the PC conferences, but they're never like blockbuster games.
Yeah.
It's indie or small, devs or real-time strategy games, stuff like that, because they're going to release all the big stuff at the other conferences that they'll also be on, like Xbox One, PS4, or PC. It was just a bad conference.
Yeah.
Next one, Upload VR. I watched that one. Upload VR was direct style for the most part. The presenter was kind of cheesy. Upload VR is an interesting crew. I've actually been to one of their like E3 after parties, and the weird thing about Upload or VR in general right now is the money is going away. And you can tell. There were literally billions of dollars put into VR as investment. I mean, Facebook bought Oculus. There's a lot of movement in those directions, and that's starting to go away. Mm-hmm. Probably to certain areas that are not gamer friendly. Because I remember going to the VR conference, and literally probably about a quarter of it was like porn stars trying to sell VR products.
Okay.
So I think that's where a lot of it is. The money is actually going. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just in case you didn't know, it was a weird party because you were like, I need to stay away from over here. So I went and go play games in all these other sections, and I remember meeting the guy that did Myst and talking with him about a new like Myst style game. Yeah.
For those of you kids who don't know what Myst is, it's spelled with a Y. Look it up.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so I don't know, VR is kind of dying. There's some good stuff. I know you just got a new VR headset.
Yeah.
I think it's the way to go where it's built into the system instead of being tethered.
Well, the reason I got that is just because VR is going more casual.
Yeah.
And so I just got a casual system for it. And it's fun, but like I said, it's just
What's it
casual
called?
games. The Oculus Quest.
Oculus Quest, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next one, Devolver. So now we're getting to good conferences.
Dude, they're bonkers. I love it the way it's set up. I actually found out like that Nina woman.
Yeah,
that's not her real name. She's playing a character.
Oh yeah, the whole thing's character based.
It's all a character. Like, and it's funny. I really like it.
So the Devolver conference is always crazy, and they're always making fun of the game industry.
But they still have good games, no matter what they make fun of. Like, that's the craziest part. Is they go all crazy with it, and they make fun of all this stuff, but they still put out good games.
Oh, absolutely. And they were making fun of the direct styles.
Oh, yeah. Like, if you watch it, I mean, they literally took graphics from Nintendo. Like, the white and red screen.
Yeah, they
when it's going between them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude. That was
really great satire. But, man, it is not kid-friendly.
No.
I remember my wife walking by and saw a little bit of it, and there's, like, people
blood
covered
everywhere.
in blood everywhere. It's like, what in the world are you watching? Next one, Square Enix was decent. We put it in front of Devolver mainly because they just had a lot more. But even then, still Portorama. It was just well done. It didn't take forever. They didn't do a lot of live interviews.
Yeah.
It was just, they did it right.
Well, and to me, Square Enix is always going to be that company that puts out good JRPGs. Mm-hmm. And they didn't mess around. Now, there are a lot of ports that are coming to it, but all these were really good games when they came out. So I understand why they're porting them, why they're doing HD versions. Mm-hmm. But like we said, their main focus was the Avengers game and the Final Fantasy VII remake. Next episode.
Yep. They had the cute Japanese lady that was memeable.
That was Ubisoft.
Oh, wasn't it? I thought we said that was Square Enix.
No.
Okay. Well, Ubisoft is the next one. Most memeable E3. They had dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Had cute doggos. They had the Ghostwire game. They had a couple other things that just worked really well, and they got rid of Aisha Tyler.
Look, I want to point out, to me, one of the craziest parts... one of the craziest parts of the Ubisoft one was during Just Dance, the last, or I don't know if it was the last song they danced to or not, but they danced to the song, and I kid you not, this is the name of it, Skibby D, by a Russian group called Little Big. Do yourself a favor and look that video up because they did the Skibby D dance.
Wow.
To me, that made that conference.
I was probably getting coffee during that time.
Oh, it was awesome.
And then they had Helen. So as far as all of it goes, to me, that was probably the biggest social media conference. They really hit a lot of things right where they needed to, whereas a lot of them really didn't get that kind of exposure.
Nah.
Then we had the Microsoft conference, which I think was number 2. I know a lot of people weren't excited about it because not everybody owns an Xbox. But the conference was coherent. It was well done. The Game Pass, the way they explained it was very smart.
I just thought it was well put together, and a lot of the games, they showed a lot of games in there. Mm-hmm. To me, that always makes it. I mean, even though some of them aren't Microsoft exclusive, I mean, they put some of the biggest game announcements in that one. And I'm not a Microsoft fanboy. I don't own an Xbox, and it was good.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And they're buying all the game companies. So, I mean...
It's true.
I mean, there's still... Though, what has been nice about Microsoft whenever they get game companies, they're actually letting them release the games that they want now, it seems. which was a big problem back in the day because you remember when Microsoft bought Rare,
Ugh.
and they pretty much murdered that company.
Yeah.
They did the same thing to the Fable company. Forgot their name.
Lionhead
Lionhead Studios. I've done work for them. So, it's interesting to see their change of heart here. I'm hopefully it stays through. And then they talked about Project Scarlet. Now, they did make the Project Scarlet look like a Kickstarter video, but...
That was weird.
Yeah.
But they didn't have much to say about it, though. I think that's why they kind of
Yeah,
did
they
it
just
that
said some
way.
specs. I did like the fact that they showed the system open and they had it all hooked up. So I thought it was a decent. It was kind of tame. And I remember everybody was waiting for Nintendo to save E3. It was all over the internet. Can Nintendo save E3? They really didn't. But they did have the best conference, I think.
Yeah, we put them at number one. Everybody knew we were going to.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
the directs are just too clean, too well done. They know how to... And, there's so many ports. They
Yeah.
released the ports. They kind of warned us about a lot of stuff anyway. They did get a negative mark on no Metroid.
Okay, well, no, I say that's a positive mark.
Okay.
Because this year, they just announced that they were completely starting from scratch. They
Yeah.
didn't like where it was going, so they scrapped everything, handed it over to Retro.
Wait, are they
and-
handed it to Retro?
Yeah. So they
snap.
scrapped everything, handed it over to Retro, and them not showing stuff is a plus, because if they were to show something, they would have to speed it up. And then they have to put it out quicker because they showed something. Their honesty in saying, we messed up Metroid, we're starting over, to me is a plus.
Nice. Okay, so that's, I guess, good now. But, and they did have, like, the one real, like, oh, snap moment that only, I think, Cyberpunk did well, but we all knew about the game, was the new Zelda. The way
Yes.
they announced that was really nicely done. Really jarring compared to the rest of it. And Animal Crossing. How they showed Animal Crossing was well done. But, E3, the only reason why Nintendo won this, though,
It was so lackluster.
yeah, there was not a lot of competition. Sony wasn't there this year. And this generation is on its last leg. I mean, Nintendo is still the newest game in town. They still have a lot of stuff coming out.
But it's still like, it's like they're on their own different generation.
They're on a whole different timeline. I mean...
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo does its own thing. And with all the stuff like Stadia, the Project X, or whatever, xCloud stuff, I mean, we're about to hit a really wild new thing, and I think Nintendo's still going to do its own thing and make money.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of craziness happening everywhere else.
Well, now you've got, was it Microsoft and Sony working together with their AI, trying to beat out Google. Ugh, it's going to be very, it's going to be some trying times coming up, I think.
Yeah, so 2020 should be good coming up. It looks like we got a lot of cool stuff coming in 2020. So get ready for that. But I think that is about it for E3 after party. We have gone forever.
I think recording, we're just under 2 hours, I think.
Yeah, longest
now.
episode ever. And we were going to do 2 of these today and stream. We're going to be so tired today.
It's true.
All right, guys. Thanks for checking in with us. You can find us also on Twitter at LamerGamersCast. You can find us on Twitch.tv. I'm doing a lot of side quest over there at Twitch.tv/LamerGamersPodcast. You can find us on Minds, kind of on Facebook, and don't get on there much often anymore. YouTube. Where else are we? We're everywhere. Oh, and we are now on iTunes for the actual podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We're on all sorts of things now. So if you're catching us from whatever podcast provider, let us know. We do have some analytics. But I'd like to see where we're kind of getting people in from. Check in with us on Twitter. Follow us. We're everywhere at this moment. So, anything you want to put in?
No, man, that's it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening in. Y'all have a good one. And we'll see you next time on the Lamer Gamers Podcast.
And we're out.